So Mike was prudent and noticed one thing that we haven't seen in other tutorials. My car still has an AC, which I plan on keeping. So we have to take off this line here and this line here, and then these guys are going to sag down a little bit more. Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
Alright, that's as far back as I'm getting it. So.
I think that's perfect.
That's out.
Cool. She's out. Look at that. Woo! Nice work, man.
Yo.
When these go back on too, they'll get torqued in like a wheel, like a star pattern. There's your clutch plate.
I understand why you say to do that now.
Now you would like a new clutch plate. You don't want these getting contaminated. This is actually in really, really good shape.
Yeah, it is so weird to see the engine out and on like a tire. It's balanced pretty nicely on there, which is wonderful. We were having a lot of trouble with this engine mount. I think it was just particularly seized on there. Like we got the nut off and everything, but man, it was just real stuck on there. So we got a jack underneath the oil pan, and that seemed to actually free it, which was awesome. It's also crazy because I've never really looked at a clutch and flywheel, pressure plate, etc. So it's cool to lay eyes on. I've also always heard, you know, oh, if your clutch is having issues, like if your clutch pedal is having issues, it's usually a throwout bearing. And I had no idea it was that deep in the transmission. But yeah, it's pretty bizarre to see this like gaping hole in the damn thing, so pretty cool. Oh yeah, we also had to end up taking the front bumper off as well as the impact bar because we couldn't really get the hoist to sit over the engine like level. So taking that off made a huge impact. But overall, I think the only thing that we broke was this guy here, which I think is a transmission temp, if I'm not mistaken. You can see the wires got ripped there, but so far that is the only thing that got ripped, which is really great. I was expecting some of the hard lines to come off or, you know, bend in some way, but didn't happen, so big win in my opinion. Yeah, I think you can even see the, yeah, you can see that cable right down there. That's where it ripped from, so should be able to get that back together. There it is. It came off.
It is off. Too dirty.
Now that right there looks like a man's hand. In this episode of Mr. Curiosity, Marty is always looking up.
Nothing but a positive vibe from Mr. Curiosity.
Oh my god. So, as you just saw, got the camshafts cleaned up with some brake cleaner. These are the old camshafts, so they came out of that engine. Can't remember if I told you guys this, but the new engine that's over there, those camshafts were bent because of shipping, it turns out. So, yeah, so what I did with these is that I just cleaned them up as best as I could and took off a lot of the gasket maker that was on these. They just kind of go on the bottom. The gasket maker just kind of goes on the bottom. And one thing that I checked over here was actually getting ready to scrape off the old gasket maker right there and there. But I figured while I was here, I might as well test out the lifters. And the really good news is all of these are freely moving, very nice and easy. How you get lifter tick on these is that they kind of like freeze up. They just get a bunch of gunk in them. These are your hydraulic lifters. So like this one right here, this is the one that's actually not moving as much. So probably a little bit of lifter tick coming out of that. But the rest of these, like, look at this. So nice. Nice and easy. But yeah, there's a way that you can take out all of these and then like wash them, essentially. You take them apart and wash them. And that allows them to move freely again. I might see if I have a lifter that is in the same position on the old one and see if it moves a little bit better. If it does, I might just swap it in there, but we'll see. Heck yeah, so found a lifter on the old engine, same location, and it works. It's much more free moving, so that's a huge win in my book. The lifter tick is just annoying. I know a lot of people are like, it's okay to run these engines with them. It sounds so bad. I really don't like the sound of it. But yeah, those all seem to be in really good shape. I'll be surprised if we have really much lifter tick in that new engine at all. I was getting ready to put the cam caps back on, and it's good to keep these in order. Like I'm using the same bolts and everything. I took photos of this beforehand, and I just double checked, and thank goodness I did. This guy and this guy somehow got swapped, so yeah, we just need to switch them back basically, and then we can start installing them. Okay, so now both cams are installed, which is pretty nice. Next up, we've got the camshaft seals, which are like these donut-looking things. They go at the front of the camshaft, so you can see it's kind of different from one side to the other. This side goes facing like out of the engine, and this side faces in. Well, sweet. That went a lot smoother than I expected. Basically, I just ended up using a extension as well as kind of like a broken flathead. Not a flathead, I think it was a Phillips. But basically it had a blunt nose on it that I could safely do some soft tapping to get those seals to seat all the way in. So I'm pretty sure they're lined up, but I think that's gonna do it for the camshaft install. We'll see how I did. Yeah, next up, the idea is to get the flywheel and clutch and pressure plate ready to transfer to the new engine. And after that, it's pretty standard stuff, like putting the valve gasket in and just kind of reassembling it all. So that's what's coming up next. All right, so last night, Jake came over, and for those of you that don't know, Jake is a close friend of mine. He is also on the Shift Colorado editor team, so we've written some stories together, designed some stuff together, and so forth. But he runs Lemons, the 24 Hours of Lemons. Well, he doesn't run it. He had a Miata out there that was running for 24 hours, and it's just this race around High Plains Raceway, and you have a bunch of cars that are basically just trying to make it through the race and win certain trophies, which is fun. But anyways, he has a lot of experience with these cars, so had him over last night, and he managed to help out with the timing on the new engine. So we think it's pretty much fully timed. Once we get it into the car, we're still going to use the cam sensor light and, you know, get it dialed in a little bit more. But right now, that thing is perfect. So today, I'm going to start to reassemble the new engine, and I got a new thermostat as well as a thermostat gasket, so that's handy. I'll probably get some new hosing for that engine as well, because it's out and it's convenient. So yeah, that's what we're going to be up to today. That is the new timing belt that we have on there, which is pretty sweet. Once we get the shielding on here, I'll actually put the little sticker on it that says new timing belt replaced at blank by blank on date blank, mileage blank. That'll be kind of fun. Yeah, this thing's looking really, really good. We got it all lined up pretty much perfectly with, actually, yeah, like perfectly, if I say so myself. Also, the more that I've thought about it, the more I am thinking about doing an AC delete on this thing, because I know for sure that I've got a massive leak in the lines anyways, so I'm kind of like, I might as well just kill it off the rest of the way, remove those hoses, and go from there. So I'll probably get that fully deleted before the new engine goes in. Okay, so we just got these covers back on. Got this guy back on too. Kind of interesting putting this back together. It's like pretty satisfying. Just kind of everything's clicking back into place. Alright, we got water pulley on and crank pulley on. Good to go there. And next step is that I am getting ready to put on the, basically the alternator belt on the new engine. And I was looking at the belts. I think I have a much newer one. Looks to be in a lot better condition compared to this one, which is the one that came on that engine. So I think that this is a newer belt. Kind of funny, this one shows that it was made in Canada. So I think I'm just going to take this one off and use it on that one. Okay, so we got the new belt off. It took actually quite a bit of persuading, because on this one, see how it's like real easy to move? Get this bolt out of the way. Like, it's pretty easy to move, right? You can see there's a decent amount of play. On that engine, it had, I don't know if there was like corrosion or what, but like the alternator was not moving after the tensioner was undone, like completely, and it was not moving, so I had to take a hammer to it in order to get that belt off, but it's on there now, and that is all that matters. Alright, alternator belt is on there, tensioned nicely. Now we're just going to put the cap back on there, the timing cap, and then probably put the top of the water housing, whatever the hell that piece is called, I always forget it. Thermostat housing, that sounds right, sounds intelligent enough. Just gonna set that guy back on top and probably call it a day. Well, I think that about finishes it up for today, which is nice. Tomorrow, I think the plan is that we're going to put some paper towels in here and then blow this all out with some air. And then we're going to move on to valve gasket and valve cover. And I'll probably get some new hosing for a lot of this stuff. So that's going to be tomorrow. But for today, looking a lot more like an engine, which is awesome.